I still remember the message word for word. I just need a month to think, to decide if you're even worth it. Her name didn't flash on the screen, just the text, cold and precise, like a scalpel. I stared at it, long enough for the anger to curdle into silence. I typed back, "Take all the time you need." And just like that, I was no longer her maybe. We'd been together for 5 years. She knew the rhythm of my pulse, the way my voice cracked when I was lying, the slight limp I tried to hide from a childhood injury. She knew me, or she thought she did. I loved her, stupidly, blindly. The kind of love that makes you ignore late-night texts she quickly deletes, work trips that last too long, the sudden switch to passwords on devices that used to be shared. She was my fiancée. Now she was a liability. It wasn't the message that broke me, it was the timing. She sent it exactly 5 days after I finalized the down payment on the house, the one we chose. The one with the backyard she swore was perfect for our future kids. A month ago, she cried when I gave her the key. A month ago, I thought she was in. I started digging the moment she asked for space. 3 days before the text, I found a hotel charge on our joint account. The location? Downtown. She said she was in Boston for a conference. I called the hotel. "Sorry, we don't disclose guest info." Fine. I booked a room for myself, same hotel, used a burner card, checked in that evening. And there she was, in the lobby, laughing, holding a man's arm like it was always meant to be hers. He looked expensive, sharp suit, too polished, like the kind of man who'd tell a bartender to keep the tab open. She didn't see me, but I saw enough. I didn't confront her, I documented her. Photos, videos, timestamps. I followed them to restaurants, back to the hotel room. I didn't need to see inside to know what was happening. Her betrayal had a rhythm now. It was clockwork. I wasn't heartbroken, I was focused. That night, I transferred everything, photos, receipts, GPS logs, into a drive titled, "Worth It?" The next day, I scheduled a meeting with my lawyer. She didn't know the house was never in both our names. She didn't know I'd paused the ring insurance policy weeks before. Something about that look in her eye when she stopped wearing it because it didn't match her outfit. She didn't know I was CEO now. Silent partner before, majority shareholder today. She had always called me her safe choice, her stability. I let her believe that. Her mistake. She texted me again 24 hours later. "Actually, I don't need a month. I overreacted. Let's talk tonight? I miss you." I replied, "Come over." She walked into the house like nothing had changed. New nails, same perfume, eyes calculating. "I've been thinking," she began. "I got scared. You're the best thing in my life, and I just needed to sort through some emotions. I was being immature." She always spoke like she was rehearsing a part. I nodded. Calm. "I understand," I said, handing her a glass of wine. "I did some thinking too." She smiled, thought she'd won. Sat down on the couch like she still owned the air in this place. I slid the USB across the table. She blinked, picked it up. "What's this?" "Your month condensed into 24 hours. Her hands trembled before her lips did. She plugged it into her laptop, clicked the folder. The laughter drained from her face like blood from a wound. The silence stretched so tight it felt like glass about to crack. "You followed me?" "No," I said, standing. "I watched you. There's a difference." She stood too, anger blooming. "You had no right." I cut her off. Calm. Dead calm. "You gave up the right to privacy when you started sleeping with someone else in our hotel room on my card after accepting a ring and house you didn't earn." She staggered. "I didn't. You did." I pulled out the folder with the prenup papers she never signed. She thought we were too in love for legalities. And the transfer deed showing she wasn't on the mortgage. And the joint account, now emptied. My half safe, her half. Donated to a women's shelter. In her name. For tax purposes, of course. Every move had been legal, silent, surgical. She fell onto the couch. "You ruined me," she whispered. "No," I said. "You ruined you. I just gave you the mirror." The man she cheated with? He got a visit from my attorney, a polite cease and desist with evidence attached. Corporate ethics violations. He resigned before Monday. She called me 2 nights later, sobbing. "I made a mistake. Please, can we start over?" I said nothing. Silence is the purest kind of answer. She sent flowers. I donated them to the cemetery down the street, left the card attached, for someone who's really gone. Now, every time she passes that house, she sees someone else living our dream. I never moved in, just staged it, sold it, and flipped the profit into a startup I named Month to Decide LLC. Petty? Maybe. But revenge isn't about fire, it's about precision. People always say closure comes from forgiveness. They're wrong. Mine came when I watched her realize in real time what it means to lose something that was real for something that never was. And the final message I sent her? Take all the time you need. I'm already gone.